questions ahead of time. We've got Coach Brandon here, who's the familiar face from the summer, who's going to ask Cal questions. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Brandon.
Hey guys, good to see everybody. Hope you're doing well. I'm going to show a quick background of Cal. He's a 4-time letterman in baseball at Trinity College school. He also lettered in hockey and volleyball. In 2016, he was drafted by the Yankees, but chose to go to Stanford University. Made 17 starts, including their opening day game. 2016, he was drafted 8th overall by our Padres. 2017, he successfully moved up his way through the minors, and he made his major league debut with the Padres May 1st, 2019. And now he's a huge part of the success and the excitement in 2020. And we'll jump right into the questions. You ready, Cal?
Here we go.
Okay, we got Vincent Sullett. Why did you choose Stanford to play baseball, and did you enjoy your time at Stanford?
All right, Vincent, I chose Stanford because I felt like baseball was just one part of who I was. I worked very hard in high school. Baseball is something that we all would love to play one day, but it doesn't work out for everybody. So I wanted to go somewhere where if something happened, if I hurt my arm or baseball didn't turn out, I could still, hopefully get a good job and be around people who I felt like were going to be as motivated as me. So Stanford was just a really good kind of mix of academics and athletics, and I really enjoyed it there.
Awesome. The next one, we have a few players ask the same question. Aiden Gutierrez, Beckett Wilson, and Seth and Jacob Miller asked, what age did you start playing baseball, and how old are you now?
My dad played baseball professionally, so I played baseball very young. I'd say maybe 5 or 6, and I'm 25 now, so it's been about 20 years of baseball to varying levels. Early on, I actually preferred hockey. I thought I was better at it. It turns out that I was not. But I think I encourage everyone to play as many sports as they can. And then as you get older and you find one that you feel like clicks with you, maybe then you can prioritize that one.
Great. The next one's from Leilani Brooks. What do you do to keep focused before and during a game?
You know what? I try and stay pretty relaxed leading up to the game. I think that anyone who thinks they can stay focused for like a 12-hour stretch, that's really, really impressive. So I try and wait and really lock in for a small amount of time, small chunks of time. So, I go out and I pitch the first inning and I try and stay very focused. And then when I come off into the dugout, I let myself breathe a little bit, let my mind wander quickly. And then as we get 2 outs in that inning, I start trying to refocus again as we head into the next inning.
Well, that's great advice. That's perfect. Declan Kelly asked, what was another position you'd like to play as a kid?
I touched on it already, but I didn't know if baseball was going to be my sport. I actually, I played volleyball at the very end, and I love that too. So I would have loved to play shortstop. Unfortunately, we have a shortstop right now who is substantially better than me. So it looks like I will be staying at pitcher for now.
For now.
Yeah, for now. Maybe, you never know.
Jackson Green asked, do you play MLB The Show, and what is your best pitch in the show?
I do play MLB The Show. I rarely use myself. If I do use myself, I try and pitch exactly how I pitch in the game, which is so silly. I should probably try and do something different. But
okay, so Everett McCulloch asked, how did you learn to play baseball?
You know what? I would say
another good question.
Most of the learning I did in baseball came from just hanging out with friends, playing catch in the yard, playing wiffle ball. We'd always we'd find these if we were out in the woods or whatever, we're doing whatever we're doing, we'd throw rocks and try and hit with a stick, the whole deal. Just anything that you could turn into a baseball game, turn into a baseball game. And then over the course of time, it just becomes a little more structured.
Got it. Henry Conant asked, what is your favorite pitch to throw?
I love throwing my 2-seamer, my fastball. Just feels like, it's your best pitch versus their best swing and mano a mano.
Nice. Okay, Soonhill Plaha asked, what are your hobbies?
You know what? During the season, it's pretty busy. I'm at the field from somewhere around noon until somewhere around midnight. So hobbies feel like mostly sleeping and eating. But in the off season, I love traveling. I like hunting and fishing. Anything I can do outside is a bonus. I've spent the last couple off seasons in San Diego, so I've been trying to develop my West Coast ways. I'm not a surfer yet, but I'm becoming less scared of the ocean.
Great. Okay, so this one's from a coach. Coach Justine asks, what do you do when you are sitting in the bullpen?
Coach Justine is one of my.
So, great question. I think that a lot of times people think that the only time you can learn is when you're playing. I completely disagree. I think every time that you tune into a baseball game, you can do what I do in the bullpen, which is just watch. Just watch the game with some kind of focus, some kind of intent. Whether it be you play shortstop and you want to watch Tatis, or you play catcher and you want to watch Austin Hedges, but just watch how the best players in the game are playing their positions and try and learn something from it. So for me, when another pitcher's on the mound, there's a chance that I'm going to face the same hitter that pitcher's facing. So maybe it's a good idea to just see how he fares with this pitch or that pitch or this location. But I think it's important to stay focused even when you're not maybe as involved.
Cool. Okay, so Kyson Brummer and Rowan Wolf both asked, what is your game day routine? And I'm assuming it's like when you're getting ready to start or you know you're throwing today.
Yeah, so I mean, I've done a little bit of both. I've relieved and started. The starting routine is probably a little more set in stone. I like to show up to the field around, if it's a 6 o'clock game, maybe show up to the field around 2. I don't love eating too much right before the game, so I try and get my calories early in the day and then hydrate as much as I can from 2 to 6. I'll head to the gym about an hour before the game. All of my warm-up routine, so get a little sweat going, activate my arm, my shoulder. If I need to see one of the strength coaches or the medical staff to just get my body feeling like it's in a good place. And then about 30 minutes before the game, I head out onto the field. I start my throwing routine, which leads into my bullpen, and then I'm ready for the game. But it's something I wish I could have gone back and did a better job when I was younger. I think. If you guys don't know the term show and go, I used to be a big time show up to the field, play low catch, play baseball. I think that's awesome and it's fun, and you can do it when you're young. As you get older, your body needs a little bit more love. I wish I would have started that process earlier. So I would encourage everyone to start trying to figure out some kind of routine that makes them feel good for every day.
Cool. Connor J asks, how did you learn to throw your changeup?
My dad and I used to play catch, and his rule was I didn't have to tell him what pitch was coming, but I had to throw a changeup every 4th pitch. So when we were playing catch at like 90 feet, and my goal would be to make him miss the pitch, right? To think I was throwing a fastball, but then he'd miss it because it was a good changeup. And I think that taught me a lot because by throwing it so frequently, it was one of those things where it became natural. It came out of the slot. It felt so much like the fastball that it felt like it worked. I don't know if you need to throw maybe that many, but I think that too many people don't focus on their other pitches, just in average catch play on an everyday basis, and then they're confused why it's not good in the game. You have to practice everything that you want to be good at. So to me, it really was just it's a repetition. You do it as many times as you can.
Cool. Okay, this is from Leonardo Aguayo. What do you do between innings to keep your arm ready and warm?
Yeah, it is.
If we're playing in a colder city, sometimes I'll throw on a heat pack or just a sweater or a coat. If we're playing in San Diego, the best place on earth, it's not too hard to stay warm during the games. But also, lots of guys have different methods. Some guys like to stay active, stay moving, keep their arm moving. For me, I've never had much trouble with that downtime. So I don't do a ton. I try and actually dry off, just calm down a little bit, and then you have 7 pitches when you walk back out there to get ready again. So I haven't found it to be a huge issue.
Cool. Maximiliano Aguayo asks, do you ever practice yoga to better yourself at the sport or just to obtain flexibility?
I did practice yoga in the off season of 2018. I enjoyed it. I think that there's some value there. I found that flexibility wasn't really my issue. I felt like I was kind of in a good place, and instead decided to spend more time in the gym instead. But I know some guys swear by it. Trevor Hoffman was a big yoga proponent for a while in his career. I think it's just very individual. Wherever you feel like you're not maybe as good as you could be, or you feel like something makes you feel good, then you do that. It's baseball is not a one way to success. There's lots of ways to be good at baseball, and some guys like yoga, some guys like to get in the gym and lift a lot of weight, some guys run a lot. I don't think there's necessarily one way to do it.
Great. Okay, Everett Brown asked, who is the toughest batter to get out that you've faced?
Mike Trout.
Ooh.
Probably obvious.
So statistically, I cannot get Robinson Cano out yet.
What?
He's 350 off
They
me.
didn't. If it's a regular season.
It's funny. If you ask pitchers this, it's not always the hitter you want to hear, right? Like, it's not always Mike Trout. For me, I've struggled with some weird players throughout my career. Players who maybe aren't known necessarily for having the best bat, but actually one of them's on our team, Greg Garcia. Greg Garcia owns me. I don't know how to get him out. I've tried throwing all the pitches. I'm like, whatever, man.
He's a scrapper.
Yeah, have first base. I'm done with this.
Okay, we're switching gears to what is your favorite childhood memory? Asked by Sebastian McGuire.
Sunil, pay attention.
My dad pitched in an all-star game in 2001 in Seattle, and I remember thinking that was very cool. I was just old enough to understand how impressive that was, and I believe that was the year Ichiro had come over, and he was dominating. It was just, I remember that being a very cool moment from youth baseball.
Very cool. Okay, so now we have Sammy Faria and Hudson Rupp asked, can you tell us how you grip one or two of your pitches?
Sure. I don't have a baseball with me, so this is going to be a little tougher. But so for the fastball, I throw a two-seam fastball. Let me see. Just give me 1 second. I'll see if I can find baseball.
You think he'd have a baseball?
I think he'd have a baseball with me
Nope.
all
In
the
his
time.
pocket. In his
How's
back
a baseball player not have a baseball in his apartment? Shame on me. Shame on me, guys. But a two-seamer, maybe Coach can help you out here, but I put my two fingers, my index and my middle finger, right between the two close seams. So, and I actually touch my two fingers together, and it's just a little bit of pressure on the middle finger. So that would be my two-seamer. And then my four-seamer would just be spinning the ball and holding it with the horseshoe facing my ear, just like your coach has got it. And that one I keep my fingers spread a little bit to try and keep the ball a little straighter. So those are my two fastballs.
Right. Okay, so Andrew Kruk asked, why is your pitching style, why in your pitching style do you look down before? Hang on 1 second. Before throwing.
So this is something I've kind of developed throughout professional baseball. The game has come so far. Every single hitter and runner who has faced you or faces you is able to watch hours and hours of film on you. So anything that you do different from how you did it the pitch before, they'll notice. And if there's something that's consistent, so let's say I always look down before I throw a fastball, but then I just look at him when I throw a changeup. Like, you might think that is such a small thing, but they'll find that out, and then they'll take advantage of it. So for me, I just tried to pick something that I knew I could repeat over and over again. And this has come with a lot of practice. Even last year, I didn't do a very good job of this, but now it's just, how consistent can I be getting to the position that I'm ready to throw? And for right now, that's just with a small look down. I'm able to see the first, if there's a guy on first, I'm able to see him. But also, it's just very repeatable.
Okay, cool. And then the next one's kind of a funny one. It's good. Jackson and Cannon Lotus want to know, are you named after Cal Ripken or Cal Weathers from the movie Cars?
So Cars wasn't out. Cars was not released when I was born, so I don't think it was that one. My parents would say I was not named after Cal Ripken, but I'm sure they crossed paths with that name watching him play. So
Cool. Andrew Robinson wants to know, what is the best pitching drill you remember from when you were young?
Okay, this is something I actually feel strongly about. Pitching is just throwing. There are no pitching drills. There's throwing drills. There's throwing with accuracy. That's pitching. So for me, I really don't like when I see younger players making every throw trying to look like a pitcher. I love that you guys are working on something and trying to imitate a professional player. That's all great. But I think it's really important to master throwing before you try and become a pitcher. So for me, a great throwing drill would be when you're playing catch at 60 feet or at 90 feet, you play a head-chest game, and you play to 10 points. So if you hit your partner in the head, you get 2 points. If you hit your partner in the chest, you get 1 point. If you can win that game every single day against your partner, then we can talk about being ready to pitch. But I think that just learning to make your body do what you're asking it to do is so much more important than anything over the head and a big leg kick, any of that stuff. So I would encourage you guys to like really master those simple things, no matter how boring they are. And then when you become a pitcher, you'll be so much further ahead of everyone else.
Well, cool. Okay, this one might put you on the spot because you got so many guys around you and you played for a while, right? Evan Borcheller and Henry Talbot want to know who is the best baseball player that you've played with.
Oh, I mean, it's Tatis. It's not even close.
Yeah, that's all it is.
I've played with a lot of outstanding players, truly. Right now, Tatis is doing some things that I quite honestly, I've never seen anything like it. So I'll give him the crown. But I've played with some really good players throughout my career. Obviously, guys on our team right now, Manny and Haas, are fantastic. Actually, there's some guys we've traded away. Hunter Renfroe is a fantastic player. Played with some guys in the minors or against guys in the minors who I think are going to have just incredible careers. In college, I pitched against Michael Conforto and Kyle Schwarber. Both, I think, are going to have long, successful careers. But, yeah, I don't know if everyone realizes, like, what Tatis is doing right now is pretty cool.
Very cool. Yeah, it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got George Nicholas and Theo Bianconi. What's the fastest speed you've thrown the ball?
95.
I think
102.
I've hit some 97s. Might have a 98 somewhere in there. But I would say that most of the time I'm 94, 96.
Okay. Now, Jackson Coolett, Nixon Turnus, and Evan Davis have asked, growing up, who was your favorite baseball team?
Ooh.
I loved the Blue Jays. I did cheer for whatever team my dad was playing for at the time, but the Blue Jays were my team. They're like Carlos Delgado, Shannon Stewart. I mean, they had a great team for a while, and I really liked watching them play.
Cool. Mason Love asked, how did you feel to get your first save?
You know what? I'll tell you guys something. When I signed in 2016, I never thought I would have a professional save. So it was exciting. It was a little different, and I think it just goes to show that if you don't limit yourself to what you are. Don't believe that like, oh, I'm a center fielder, and if I'm not a center fielder, I'm nothing. Like, you can be a good baseball player, and you can accomplish a lot of things and play a lot of different positions and fill a lot of roles if you don't just force yourself into being one thing. So for me, I've just been really focused on how can I get 3 outs before they score runs, and that means that I can play any pitching position that they have.
Awesome, thank you. Matthew Love asked, is it your goal to secure the 5th spot in the starting rotation?
Oh, absolutely. I think I've trained for a long time to be a starter. I'd love to be a starter. But it's important to remember for everybody, including even at your guys' ages, that like your team winning is the coolest thing you can be a part of. You like winning a tournament, winning a championship, winning the World Series this year is far cooler than any individual accomplishment you can have. And for me, I'll never stop chasing my individual goals. But if in this moment the team is better with me filling this other role, then that's okay. And I think that if you, at the end of your career, if you have the respect of your teammates and your coaches, and they know like the work and effort you put in, not only are you probably going to get a chance to be the 5th starter, but you'll also get a chance to be part of some winning teams. So I think that's the same when you're 4 years old, 8 years old, same when you're 25 and 30. never stop chasing what you want, and make sure they know that you want that, but do what your team needs.
Cool. So John Robinson asked, when you were getting squeezed by an umpire, what can you do to stay focused?
Ooh, last night I felt like I was getting squeezed by
Yeah,
an
you did.
umpire. Here's the thing. It's okay to get angry sometimes. I definitely have said and done things that are probably not as nice as I could be. It's just being competitive. They're doing their best job too. They didn't show up to the field that day trying to ruin your day. It wasn't like, oh, Johnny, I'm going to get you today. No, they're trying their best. They're trying to call strikes and balls. They're just calling it as they see fit. You can disagree, but don't let it take you out of your mindset that you showed up to the field with. So yesterday, that's a big inning. We're up by 2 runs in the 7th. If you let him get under your skin and you start, you get angry and then you start throwing bad pitches, not only are you going to cost yourself and your team, not only are you going to cost yourself, but you're going to cost your team the game. So for me, it's just about staying very, very focused on what you can do. That's not something you can control. You can throw it right down the middle and he might call it a ball. It stinks. No one's going to tell you any differently, but you still have to throw that next pitch. So for me, it's just about like really thinking pitch to pitch. He made a bad call, take a step off the mound, be angry at him, maybe even curse him a little bit in your head, and then when you get back on the mound, it's time to make the next pitch.
Awesome. Marco Molina want to know, what is it like to play alongside electric players like Tatis?
You know what? Our team is really fun right now, and I have brought up Tatis, but we have a lot of exciting players, so it's a blast. Like Cronenworth is having an incredible rookie year. Manny is starting to heat up. Haas hits the ball hard every single time. Our outfield's strong. Like, to me, it's just being on a good team's the best thing in the world. You know what I mean? Let's say you could be the best player on a bad team, or you could be a good player on a great team. I think almost everyone would tell you being a good player on a great team is a ton of fun. Surrounded by talent, everyone's pushing each other. You show up to the field every day with not only like the intent to win, but you expect to win, and that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's a good feeling. I know that feeling. I've been on both too, so it's rough. Okay, so Blake Motz, Alex Taliki, and Ethan Morrell asked, how much practice did it take for you to make it to the big leagues?
Wow. Just an uncountable amount of hours. From the age of 7 or 8 onwards. And I'm not saying that I didn't do other things and work hard at school, but in high school, like, I missed parties, I skipped parties, I missed school, I skipped this, I skipped that. I missed out on some things because I knew that baseball was something I loved, and I wanted to really give it my best effort. So thousands and thousands of hours, and off the field too, watching baseball games, playing video games, I don't care, but just surrounding yourself with something that you really, really like, and then surrounding yourself with people who also really like that, and really trying to push towards the peak, whatever, like, really just maximize whatever you're capable of. So, just probably as many hours as most of the guys watching this have been alive.
That's good advice. Okay, so now we got a good nickname even. David Curly Guzman asked, what do you feel is the greatest asset, skill, habit, or routine that benefited you getting to the major leagues?
All right, Curly, huh? Okay. So, Curly, I would say the best thing, or the thing that has helped me the most is, I'd say it's 2 things. Number 1 is being coachable, right? Like, I guess, let me try to think of a better way to say it. Being open to new ideas, trying to learn, like being willing to get better. Don't let your pride and like confidence get in the way of you taking the next step towards being a good baseball player. And then I would say the second thing, and it kind of fights the first thing, is just being very confident in yourself, regardless of the results. Regardless of when everyone tells you, no, like, you're no good, or everyone's tweeting at you, or everyone's this or that, and they're saying, oh, you'll never make it. Like, be confident in yourself, but still be willing to learn from all the people around you. And I think if you can do those 2 things well, and it's hard, I still struggle with it now, but if you can find a way to do those 2 things well, you have a good chance of being the best player you can be, which, don't get too caught up in, like, big leagues or bust. If you become the best player that you can be, it'll probably be good enough.
Cool. Okay, so this is a non-baseball question. You ready? Parker Johnson asks, do you have any pets?
We have a family pet at home, a big yellow lab. Love him. Chevy is his name. But I do not have personally a pet right now. I would love to have a dog, but I think just the lifestyle, I wouldn't be able to give that dog enough love right now.
Cool. Elliot Wilson wants to know, he states, I am a catcher. What qualities do you look for in catchers?
Ooh, awesome. I think on the field, I'm looking for somebody who's able to, no matter how their at-bats are going, they're able to separate that. They're able to put that behind them. And when they come to catch me, they're focused on one thing, and that's us having success. I think that's huge. I think another thing is catchers more than any other position need to find a way to build relationships with lots of people. You need to be able to build a relationship with your 14, 15, 16 pitchers. You need to be able to build a relationship with your 2 or 3 pitching coaches. You need to be able to build a relationship with your other teammates as well. So all the respect into the world for catchers. That's why so many catchers turn into managers. It's because generally speaking, they're hardworking, good people who are able to find ways to work alongside lots and lots of guys.
Awesome. So Ari Rosenthal and Louis Rinke asked, who was your favorite MLB player growing up?
I loved Roy Halladay. I thought he was someone I'd love to try and pitch like. I mentioned Carlos Delgado just because he became kind of a family friend. Loved Carlos Delgado. And then, I also loved all the big names. Pedro Martinez, Randy Johnson, all these guys were studs. Trevor Hoffman was an absolute beast. I think I had lots of favorite players, but if you made me pick one, maybe Roy Halladay.
Cool. Izzy Ortiz wants to know, are there any pointers on how to prepare for a doubleheader?
Ooh, okay. Double headers. I think that you don't want to bite off more than you can chew. You have to focus for the first game before you can focus for the second game, if that makes sense. You have to prepare yourself to play the first one, play that one as hard as you can, then take your little break and prepare yourself to play the second one. Try not to think of it as like, I have to play 18 innings or 14 innings in a row. You need to play your first 7, win that one before you can even think about the second one.
Cool. Now I like this one because it's your personal, right? Jacob Markowitz asked, what is your favorite city to pitch in and why?
So we'll say San Diego's 1, but we'll take that out of it. So Petco's the best. I had a ton of fun pitching at Wrigley Field last year. Day game on a Sunday. The fans are very into it there. It's just so much history in that field. I think that's up there. Toronto's my home, so that one's up there. But I think maybe if you made me choose, I'd choose Chicago.
Cool. Okay, Alexander Ma asks, what is your favorite part of being a big leaguer?
Besides basically having worked for this for forever, I would say one of the coolest parts about being a big leaguer is being surrounded by people who think just like you, who have pushed themselves to the limit to be where we're at. And there's like a respect. You respect how hard he worked to be here because you know how hard you worked to be here. And you can probably feel that way right now amongst your friends. Like when you turn 13 or 14 and you're playing on a good team in San Diego County, and you'll have respect for the guy playing third base next to you at short because you know that he worked as hard as you to have that job. I think that that's a very cool part about being kind of working to be at the top of your job.
Okay, 2 more questions. We got one more player question from Evan Spencer. Who is the coolest guy to hang out with on the team?
I hang out with a lot of guys on the team. David Bednar, who's been up and down a little bit this year. We hang out all the time. He's hilarious. We call him the Bus. He's just a big, goofy. He's a good dude. We got all. I love our team right now. Our whole team is just good dudes. Trent Grisham, traded from this year. Really, really good guy. We're in the locker room right now. We had to spread out because of COVID, so we're trying to be really safe. So some of the younger guys got put in an auxiliary room, and I'm in the auxiliary room, and it's a blast. It's our little locker room B, and we have fun in there. It's Patino, Javi Guerra, Mateo, Ty France, Cronenworth, me, and Tim Hill, I think it is now. Oh, and Campusano just joined us. So we have a blast. We got our own boom box, and after the game, we party. We go crazy in our wins in there. So we have fun. It's a fun team, and the auxiliary locker room B is where you guys want to be.
Don't tell that to the veterans, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, locker room A is good too, but locker room B is where it's at.
All right, to wrap it up, what advice would you give the Padres campers to be successful in baseball and in life?
I would just say, whatever it is you guys care about, whether it's baseball, school, a different sport, whatever it is, like, just don't leave any rock unturned. Like, really, really pursue it. Because I see a lot of guys who, they say they want it, but they're really not willing to go the extra step to get what they want. So I would just say, hey, like, if baseball is the thing that you want, like, really push yourself. And not just, as hard as the people around you, harder. Like, if you want it more than the people around you. And it goes for everything that you do. Like, to me, there's just no point in doing something unless you can try and become the best at it. So, if you're taking a math test, shoot for 100. If you're show up to baseball practice, show up with a good attitude and work harder than everyone else on the team. Whatever it is, I really don't care. If it's an instrument, singing, there is no right. If you're coding, if you're a computer guy, I don't care. Video games. Would you ever pick up MLB The Show and try and lose? Like, just go out and really, really try and become the best you can be at whatever it is that makes you happy.
Awesome.
Great. It's time for us to wrap up. We do have to let Cal get to the ballpark. A little early work for tonight's game. Cal, thank you from our staff and our camp families. I think that last piece of advice is really relevant as our campers get ready to go back to school in a very different way than normal. And obviously Cal pursued school to the highest degree. So I'd take that advice on the baseball field, as Cal said, and certainly to virtual school or whatever school looks like, and being helpful to your parents in that this year. And again, Cal, thank you for making the time for us, especially on a game day. You got a big crew of campers that will be watching for sure tonight and the rest of the way, and wishing you luck and be thinking about locker room B and especially. And thanks again for making the time for us.
Yeah, absolutely. When we win tonight, you guys turn on your boombox and party with us. We'll pretend you're in locker room B.
Awesome. Thanks, Cal. Good luck tonight.
All right.
Thanks, Cal. Thank you.
Take care, guys.